Hey, Shalom Markins of Karmakapash from Jim London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Back again with another video, and I'm going to title this one, this is why you not yoke yourself with unbelievers, right? Or unequally yoke yourself with unbelievers, right? Because, this is all just a show, a money-making scheme, right, that these guys get involved with, right, when they get, bored of just teaching the truth the way it was taught to them, right? And so they start, latching on to others that have, some sort of reputation or followings, right? They get involved in these debates, right? And these debates, they have eyes of certain, groups of people, and money comes in. They get money for the debates, and they're hearing each other out, you know. But what it does to further the truth, it doesn't really do anything, right? But you start, taking in more of these other views and opinions, and because these dudes that they'll converse with, like Zion X is a smart dude, he's an intelligent dude, man. He's well studied, right? But he's not really a believer in the truth, right? He's not really a believer, all right. And so if you're not strong in the faith, right, in the doctrines of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, right, guys like this will be able to twist your thoughts and ideas, and what you think, and because he's got this evidence and that evidence, he's read this book and that book and da 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 da. But he's not really spiritual. He's not really in tune with the spirit like that, right? He's just well read, all right. And so you start adopting things and bringing them into your teachings and stuff like that. Well, now you're tampering with the foundation, essentially, right? And of course, from this you're gonna get all these weird and bugged out doctrines because you heard this and heard that. Oh, that kind of makes sense, and then you incorporate it. But these weren't the things where you were brought in on. These weren't the foundations that you stood on, all right. And like I said, this whole debate thing, right, is it's full of everybody, all different types of people. And man, do debates with vocab, Egyptologists, and all Muslims, whatever, man. Whoever's mildly interested in this point in time where they had to do a debate which people are going to find interesting and make money out of. They'll set that up. They'll set that debate up. Just for the sake of the fact that it makes money. It's always controversial, whatever. You know how it is, like in the era. But you know, and so it's no real surprise that Genesis and Hassad Hakar, they just I see a picture of Hassad the other day, bro, posted up, right, he man looking like a pastor now, bro. Them man they're going in right now, man. um they're just worldly dudes, man. They're going back into the world, and they're doing that, the whole world thing that works and makes them money, right? They're not sticking to the truth. They're adapting the truth, and making their own little, the niche little space for themselves, right, to stand out, right, claiming that they got the truth, or whatever, man. That they have the true understanding. Everybody else is wrong now. They're the top guys in the Hebrew Israelite thing. They know the scriptures. They know the breakdowns. They got new revelations, and the whole song and dance, man. But this is what happens, man, when you yoke yourself unequally with unbelievers, man. It's bound to go wrong, right? It's bound to go left. All right. So let's get some scriptures, man, because that's what we're here for, really. All right. So it's opening up with 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? So it's like beginning of elders and apostles, like they always say, man. Like we're gonna be doing no debates, man. This is not the time of debating, man. Look, you either get this truth as you hear it from us, man, or you don't. We're not gonna sit there and debate with you guys, knowing that these debates are not really changing nothing. They're not really doing anything, right? The only reason is just because it makes money, right? And that's the only reason why you're there, right? You can kid yourself and say, oh, we can get access to all these different people that are watching and convert them and that. But how many people are being converted? All right, yeah, you might get a few followers in that, but that's not really why you're there. right? You're there because it makes money, because you wouldn't be going there for free. All right. I damn sure wouldn't be sitting in a room with vocab. Not even for money. Right? I want to sit in a room with vocab or nothing like that, shaking his hand and all this bullshit, right? You're there because there's money involved. Right? Sarnator, all this house of consciousness shit, right? They're doing it because there's money involved. It's not because they believe in any particular thing, because Sarnator, he'll flip-flop back and forth between being an Israelite to being an Egyptologist to being a Christian, and it's kind of wacky, right? When the guy talks, he talks like he's, like he's some fucking guru, right? But he ain't got no faith in nothing, right? He just a flip-flopper, right? He's just a flip-flopper making money, right? So we got no business in that realm of things, man. We're not commanded to go do no debates, right? We defend the gospel, of course we do, right? Then how is it by ways? We do have videos. We put that there on the internet for those to watch, and whether you hear or whether you forbear, that's all down to you now, right? We've done our part in providing you with the information, right? And we'll rebuke, and we'll do all these things when certain people say things that ain't right. We'll do all those things, man. But we don't have to sit in a room with you, man, for a spectacle. So we can make some money out of some fucking debate because it's some WWE show. Okay, we don't need to be doing all of that, right? Because it is just for the spectacle of it. It isn't because we're gonna sit here and we're gonna convert you or make you believe. Because at the end of the day, it's a waste of time. We can't make nobody believe, right? That's not meant to believe. So if you're already stiff-hearted, right, and you believe in your thing, believe in your thing. If the Lord wants you to wake up, you'll wake up, man. But we ain't gonna sit there in the room and debate for 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it is you man are doing, right? We ain't got to do all that, right? But so you're only there because there's money involved, right? So again, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, right? And what communion have light with darkness? Right, we're not here to argue back and forth with unbelievers. If they don't want to believe, they don't want to believe. We're not going to push it on to the extent where make you believe. That's not our job, believe it or not. Right, we're here to give you the information. Right, to tell you, give you understanding. Right? If you don't want to believe it, guess what? You're not a part of the team. Right? You're not. You know what I mean. We're not bothered about. You're not worried about you. Right, you can, settle that into the ethos, man, and do whatever the fuck you're doing, man. We're looking for the elect, right? And the elect are gonna hear, and they're gonna come in, and they're gonna serve, right? They're gonna serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai and also teach. So, that's our goal, right? Verse 15. Or what concord have Yahushai with Belial, or what part have he that believes with an infidel, right? So you man sit there with Egyptologists or whatever, and you sit there going back and forth, arguing about a God that don't fucking exist, man. All these idols. Why are we talking about? Why are we going back and forth with a guy that believes in idols? And that's his thing, and he ain't gonna depart from his thing because that's where he makes his money at, man. That's what he does. That's what he believes, or that's what he's pushing, right? That's how he's brought himself up. Just like you guys are. Doing this Hebrew Israelite thing, but you're not really about it. You've taken the identity, but you're not really taking this thing seriously, right? It's not meant to be some money maker for you to go out there and make money off, and you'll just come out with some, whacked out doctrines, to make yourself sound interesting or different from everybody else. That's not what this is about, man. This ain't the fucking popularity contest. It's ain't about looking cool. It's ain't about looking hard. It ain't about all that shit. Right? Verse 16. What agreement have the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come you out from among them? We've left that place. Going back to these different types of places, like going back into the world, man. Right, that's who you're surrounding yourself, right? Because this is what I mean. You're spending more time with these dudes than you are really with people like trying to convert people, like or bringing the truth to the elect that haven't heard yet or whatever, right? You're more spending time with these dudes and making business plans and making debates and all these different things. You're like you've befriended them, right? That's why you got Sarnetta. He best friends with everybody. He is, because people making money. So yeah, who's he gonna be close to them? He's gonna come to the cookouts. He's gonna do all that shit, right? And you're gonna invite him too, Because I'm seeing you fucking retards out there. You don't believe. Why the fuck you bring into a Passover or whatever? Anyway, different matter, different topic. But you know, that's what these guys do. They get in with each other, and that's what they do. Now they're more closer. You know, all these unbelievers and shit. They're all friends. They're all friends, man. You know, but we got no business with you, man. You don't believe. You know, fucking vocab and shit. Like, come on, man. Oh yeah, vocab's got my number. What the fuck, man? What the fuck for? The hell for, man? This damn infidel. He's a puff adder. You know. How has he got to this point? Right? Like, how did you get there? You know, all these people we've been cursing out for all these years. How did you get there? You know, to exchange your phone numbers, bro. You know what I mean? Whatever, man. Right. So wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord God Almighty. All right. So that's it. These men are getting too close to the enemy, right? And they're being subverted, man. You know, whether willfully or intentionally or unintentionally, they've been you know, perverted, man. They're being corrupted. All right. It's 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3, right? It says, "For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine," right? And that's become evident, obviously, for a long time now. These branch groups, kind of came out of One West, right? They're just on their own thing now. They're setting up their own foundation, their own school, their own doctrines, and it's nothing like what was taught to them, because they don't believe in what they were taught, right? Because they don't have faith, right? Every time you want to change something, it means you didn't believe. You lack the faith to believe it, right? And the Lord has taken understanding away from you, and you think you're gaining understanding, but really it's the opposite. You think the Lord is dealing with you, or you act like He is, or whatever, but the Lord is actually taking more stuff away from you, and Satan is feeding you bullshit. But like I said, you're being corrupted, infiltrated by all these different people around you, man. Debating about all these different things, and he says something, it's like, it sounds deep, isn't it? Oh shit, and then Satan's all up in your mind, convincing you, what this guy said, he might be right. It might be right. And you do a little bit of reading, it sounds right. But then, like, you look at all these other bugged out doctrines, and they'll all say the same thing. It sounds right. And that's why you got guys talking about Pacamentos gods and shit. It's like the real names of the Most High and the Son. Like, what are you talking about? Like, obviously Satan's at work here, right? Taking people away from the truth, giving them mad doctrines, and they just think they're fucking the most enlightened person on the planet, right? And they're like, to hell with everything that we learned as a foundation. Like, we're gonna change it up, right? Because these men are wrong and I'm right. But you obviously just bugged out. Man. And you look at Deacon, who got the fucking titles, man? Is it Deacon Hakar? Deacon Hakar and Assad. I don't know what his title is. Whatever, man. Right? Look at them. Look at how they're developing out of Sakari now. How they're developing as a outside that group now. It's just getting worse, man. Elazar was a bad one, obviously, but. Look at his fruits though. His fruits are just continuing the same old shit, the same old madness, man. It's just getting worse. These guys are turning into different types of characters now. My other dude's got these fucking cat stuck to his head all day long. You know what I mean? With all the gimmicks. I see that cat, or make a Babylon fool again. Everything just filled up with gimmicks, man. Oh, buy the hat. Yeah, it sounds cool. Yeah, make Babylon fool again. But buy the cap. Buy the t-shirt. Everything's just gimmicks, man. It's all about this enterprise, this business that they got going on. Right? It's not a real house or a real church. It's not a real church. It's not a real collection or gathering of the men of the Lord. This man's running a business on you, man, running scams and schemes on you. But anyway, he says, for the time will come when they will not enjoy sound doctrine, right? So they left the doctrine that they were told, and as I'm going to read, right? But after their own lusts, right, for their own reasons and purposes, right, shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. All right, so you're going to have people, what does Scripture say? The deceiver and deceived are the Lord's, man. Right, the Lord took you out of this truth, man, and gave you doctrines, and you're going to be used to deceive others. All right, this is why your congregation is the way it is, right? And you might take pride in or how big it is, or whatever the case may be, how how low these men are to you, or whatever the case may be. I don't know, man, how much smoke they blow out your ass. Yeah, you might be, get proud about all of that, but just know the deceived and deceiver are the Lord's, man. Right, and that's the boat you're sitting in right now. Right, verse 4: and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, from the things that they were taught, right, and shall be turned unto fables, right, and they're gonna make fables. Right, they're going to be seduced by other guys that don't believe, like Zion Lex or whatever, right? Because, like I said, he sounds deep because he's, like I said, he's well read, and he might twist, the arms of these dudes and like, you know what, he might be right, and then they'll adopt this and adopt that and then bring that into the doctrine now, or, whatever the case may be, right? But this is what happens when you haven't got the full armor of the Most High, right? People can come in and fuck with you and fuck with your spirit, man. Right, fuck with your psyche and shit. This is what Satan does. Satan sends dudes, right, that is strong enough to overthrow you. Right? So when you're weak in the faith, man, this shit happens. This shit can happen. False doctrines come in. Your doubt seems to, creeps in. And you start changing stuff because you don't think it's right. Because you got doubt now. And you surround yourself with all these different fucking people that are not in the truth. Right? They're not of that spirit. And they're just going to fuck with your spirit all the time. Because you're unsure. Right? Let me grab something quick. Right? Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. These men are not being able to stand. All right, they've been attacked and they've been subverted, right? Been corrupted, right? Satan's got to them. They've failed, right? So put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in higher places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, right? You actually got to have the truth, right? And the truth is what we've been taught, right? The things that we have received from the beginning. That's what the truth was, right? But because of your doubt, because of your lack of faith, you don't believe these things are right. Okay? So you're already lacking, you're already failing, right? It says that go about with truth and having on the breastplate of righteousness and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith. That's what these men don't have. They ain't got no shield of faith because they got no faith. Right? They got this fake faith, this pseudo faith that they try and portray. That they believe of the scriptures, they believe of the Lord, but they haven't done nothing faithful up until this point in time. They haven't showed no faith. Everything they've done is they showed lack of faith this whole time. That's why they're so eager to change things. Because they're unsure. They're not sure what they were taught. And yet they'll keep some things and they'll discard other things because they just don't know. They're just lost. They're fools at the end of the day. Right? Like I said, they keep certain things, might be the names of the Lord, the Lasher one called Dash, but then, if you look at the back of this one, it's, Yahweh Shai is not the real Hebrew, so they're going to debate that, they're going to debate whether that's the Hebrew or not, and Zion Lex, he's not going to get the spiritual aspect of the Hebrew, so there's no point having that discussion with him, because he's only going to go by what he's researched. And the Hebrew is not something you're going to find on the earth because it's been discontinued on the earth. So that's like a dead end, really. Unless you're spiritual by it and you have faith. You see what I'm saying? So There's no point just, arguing about spiritual things that it requires faith to believe it. There's no point discussing that with a person that doesn't believe because they haven't got the faith to believe in that. They want the hard empirical shit. That's not gonna be enough for them. So what's the point? But you'll sit down there and go, well, maybe he's got a point, maybe this, maybe that, because you're weak. You man are weak. You're weak in the faith. Right? That's what it boils down to, right? So faith. Yeah, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Right? So if you've got faith, there ain't nothing that can knock your confidence, man. Like, yeah, there'll be times, bro, it might be low or might be struggling with something or whatever the case may be, but come on, man. Faith is what keeps us standing. That's what keeps us standing, man. That's what keeps us on that straight path. Without it, this mission is impossible. Right? And this is why so many men fall. Right? And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Right? And for me, the utterance may be given unto me that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. Right? Because it is a mystery. It's not something that you're just going to be able to present to somebody and like they're going to ask you, or prove it. There's some things we're not going to have to prove to you. That's just the bottom line. In the end, yeah, all things are manifest and all things will be proven. But I think there's some things right now we can't just show you. You know what I mean? Like, without you having a spiritual eye to see it, right? And you can only get that from the Most High, right? So if the Most High is not dealing with you, you ain't ever gonna see it, right? As the Lord said, it's caused you to be blind, right? It doesn't give you the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So there's nothing we can do about that if you can't receive it, all right? And so that's why these debates and arguments, they become pointless. There's no point arguing with someone that just doesn't want to receive it or can't receive it. And this is why we're not just telling them, man, be on your way. We don't need you. We don't need to convince you. We're not here to convince everybody. We haven't got a convinced elect like that. They're going to receive it some way, somehow. Like, they're going to receive it. And so we don't have to sit there and be desperate. Be desperate with people to try and convince them. If you don't want it, that's fine. you ain't gonna receive it from us, man. You can believe in whatever you want to believe, because you read this or that. You can believe whatever you want. Right? I ain't gonna lose sleep over it. None of us are. All right. But yeah, you haven't got no defense, right? That defense really starts with the faith, and you man never had it. All right. But this whole situation, this debate arena, and special guest this, and he's of this school of thought, and he's of this belief, and like, bro? It's just a show. It's just a show, man. That's making people money, giving people a bit of fame, bit of popularity, bit of clout. That's what all you guys really want. That's what you guys really want, man. That's why you all take part in it. That's why GMS, like, we stay out of that shit, man. Because you man ain't really real. Right? There's Acts chapter 17. Let's see. So verse 16, right? Now while Paul waited for them in Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews and with the devout persons in the market daily with them that met with him. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and the Stoics encountered him, and some said, "What will this babbler say?" Others some, he seems to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahushua and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, May we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear some new thing. And that's all that ever come to these different things, right? You're there to make money, but you're going to be arguing with people that don't believe in the truth, right? For an audience that just don't really, they don't really care. They just want to see a spectacle. They want to hear some new thing, right? But it's even worse when you go there with a set of beliefs and your beliefs are getting fucked up, man. Your beliefs get, becoming influenced by the others that are around you. You're just hella weak, man. That's hella weak. You're gonna go there and debate your thing, but your thing is always changing now because like you man are getting upset by certain people and things that they're saying. It's like, oh shit, like, oh, I don't know how to deal with that. Maybe I should look it up. And then you conform to certain information that you hear, and then next thing you know, a doctrine is being changed. Oh, the Lake of Fire. Well, it's not America. It's a river somewhere in the Middle East or whatever. Based on I read this and someone told me about this and I went over there and looked it up and it sounded it could be, it probably is that. So you go into these places and you're getting twisted in the spirits. Like, come on, man, it's weak. It's weak. It's weak. Right? So yeah, for all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but to either to tell or to hear some new thing. Right? And that's why they make money out of these things, because people just want to see the Hebrew Israelites debate this or debate this person, that person, and they just want to see something, man, hear something. It's not going to change the way they live. They ain't going to adopt nothing. They just like hearing different things. Because they're the super deep ones in the earth, because they heard everything. They heard everything. They take pieces of everything that they like and just that's their philosophy now. Everything is just how they however they see it. That's their philosophy. So they're just, anytime you speak to these dudes, they're just super fucking deep, but don't know fuck all. Not held down to anything. No real conviction in anything, right? But verse 22. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, "Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious. For as I passed by and behold your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription: to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare unto you." Right? Because these men were idol worshippers. They don't really care if they don't know who this God is. It's just another idol to them. It's like, but there is only one true power, right? And Paul knew who that was, right? And these men didn't know, right? So Paul was sitting there telling them about it, right? So obviously people are interested because they want to hear what Paul's got to say about this new God they've never heard of before, right? So they want to hear, right? But it's not like you haven't heard us, right? We don't have to go on this circuit now over and over again and have all these debates and to put on a spectacle and a show for everybody, man. You already heard us. You know what we're about. You already know. You already know, right? And that's why this thing really is bullshit, right? You man already know. And going there tomorrow or the next day or next week, next month to debate some other person isn't going to fucking change anything. People already know about you or us, the Hebrew Israelites, right? Yeah, they might want to hear your twisted version of it, but that's like you're not changing the opinions of anybody really. They just like the spectacle, but you do it because there's money involved, and people are going to hype you and kiss your ass and shit. You know what I mean? That's why you're there, right? This is whom therefore you ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you, right? And so we already made that clear and declared that to everybody, right? But if you don't want to listen, that's fine. That's fine. Right? This is Titus chapter 1. Actually, did I finish off the Timothy? Let me read this again, right? 2 Timothy 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Right? And that's what these men are doing or being done to, right? Pardon me. It's first Titus chapter 10. Sorry, chapter 1. First Titus chapter 1. Verse 10, right? It says, "For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision." Right? And that's what these men have become at the end of the day in this thing. They've just become, false prophets and people and deceivers, basically, right? So there are many unruly and vain talkers, right? Unruly, they're not, you can't tell them nothing, get it? They don't want to obey nothing, right? They got their own ideas, right? Their own thoughts and things, opinions on things, right? And this is why they don't respect the things that they were taught, even though they hold true, or they hold some things close to them still, but other things they're quite happy to change. Yeah, nothing's off the table, which I saw that as part of one of these fucking promos, right? Nothing's off the table or whatever the case may be. They're prepared to go into everything and change everything if necessary, bro. That's what these men do. They're prepared to change everything, right? If they find out something that like might be able to stump them or something, they'll change it. They won't stick to nothing. They won't stick to the guns and show faith and all that. They won't do none of that stuff, man. They'll change it up, right? Because just look at the back, the whiteboard at the back here, right? Genesis vastly talks with violent legs, right? Esau is the Arabs. That's what they're going to talk about. Why? Why are we talking about if Esau is the Arabs or not? Clearly he's not. But they're going to sit there and waste people's time with arguing about if they're Arabs or not. No, just turn to the fucking Edomites, man, and break it down. I ain't going to have a discussion whether or not they're Arabs, and that's just ridiculous. We're just going to show you that they're the Edomites. Virgin birth, no, we know that's not a thing, right? And we've been through that plenty of times, right? But they're gonna discuss it. Why? And then the thing is, none of this stuff that's on there is talking about salvation at all, right? None of it doesn't say the mark of the beast. They're not discussing that. Jacob's trouble, World War III. They're not discussing none of that, right? The 12 tribes chart is trash. But then how are any of you man here? Right? Yahweh Shai is not the real Hebrew. Okay, good luck trying to break that down. Then the Talmud is inspired, so they're gonna say that there's parts of the Talmud that's true. I don't know, but these are the things that they're discussing, bro. What for? The 12 tribes ones are barren because obviously everybody that acknowledges themselves to be Hebrew is because it's 12 tribes side. Right, but you're going to stand there and tear it down because you think you're safe in the fact that, well, I'm from America, I'm a Judite or whatever, so all this other stuff, I don't know about all these other nations being Israelites, but I'm cool. You feel safe because you're in America, so you feel like I can change it, it's fine. I could debate this or whatever. Right, you don't even know, bro. Let's be real. Like, this whole idea is like you didn't know shit about being an Israelite until the elder men that came before us brought that to us. Right, but now you want to change everything that they established. You're just wicked, man. You're just wicked. You believed it then, but you don't want to believe it now. Because you don't want to believe everything that came out. Whatever, man. But that's why it said they should turn their ears from the truth. Anyway. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, right? Who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. They teach this ludicrous shit and this controversial shit because it makes them money. They become the talk of the Hebrew Israelite world because they've got this new doctrine that no one else is teaching. So yeah, they're gonna stand out. It's like, oh, what's this new doctrine? Because these Mars niggas, they want to hear it. These Mars niggas want to hear it, man. So yeah, that's what you do. That's how you stand out. That's how you get you get a new set of group, a new following or whatever. Because you try and stand out with all these different doctrines. When everyone teaches the same, everyone's like, oh, I've heard it before. And people that are not really interested in this world, they just get bored of hearing the same thing. So you're not going to grab no attention by teaching what everybody else is teaching, right? And in the world of the internet and fucking social media, you can't do that. If you want to be popular, you can't do that, right? You gotta be new, you gotta be exciting. You gotta play to once to the people to get your viewership up, right? Get your subs up, right? The thing is, we don't give a fuck about any of that. We're just gonna give you the truth, whether you want to hear it or whether you want to thumbs up, subscribe, you want to follow or believe, that is up to you. We don't give a damn, right? We're here doing the job that we were assigned to do. Okay, we're not here playing for likes. We're not here playing for subscriptions. We're not here playing for money. None of that's important to us. Right? But like I said, this is something all these other camps seem to be involved in. Right? And they've yoked themselves unequally with unbelievers, which we were told not to do. Because look at the result of it. All this fucking goofiness going on. Right? So whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. Right? Because there's money involved, right? So one of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the creations are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply that they may be sound in the faith. And this is also why you're tired of hearing us. You know, we're just the haters of Israel, apparently. You know, we just hate because you camps have got bigger memberships and bigger pockets than all of us. Like I said, who the fuck cares about any of that? That is not why we're here. Right? Because I guarantee if we wanted to, we could. Right? But we don't want to be like you, because you're clowns. Right? And you ain't sincere. Right? We do what we do out of sincerity, man, because we believe in the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and we believe in the mission that's been given unto us, man. All right? That's why we do what we do. Right? We don't expect to get paid for it, you know, in this world. You don't expect thanks, you know what I mean? All these different types of things. We don't, you know, we expect bare gratitude and, you know, bare like Nate gets his ass kissed all day long, you know, bare pampered. Right? We're in this street, we're not really gonna receive all that. So and nor should we, because we haven't finished the job yet. You know what I mean? The praise and the glory is gonna come once we finish the job, and right now the job's not finished. So you know, just fucking focus on the work. You know what I mean? Just do the work, right? Then if you make it, Lord willing, if we make it, you know we did we did what we're supposed to do. We're part of the Lord's elect. And you know, then we can receive the praise of doing the job, right? And get the accreditation and the titles that Yahweh Shai is going to bestow upon us in the kingdom. Right now, none of that shit means shit. Like, so all this, you know, what they call it, flatteries and shit, man. You know, to hell with all that. But you man are desperate for flatteries, bro. You know, you just love it, man. You love it. All right. But yeah, this witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply that they may be sound in the truth. Right. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Right. Because your interpretations is different from what we was taught. Right. So it's the interpretation of a man, because it's not the foundation. It's not what was taught. This is exactly how things happened. You know, when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, Yahweh Shai taught a doctrine to his disciples who became apostles, right? Who were then set or set up to teach that doctrine, right? But men changed that doctrine. Men changed that doctrine and brought all kind of heresies into the truth. That's the same thing is happening. It is very different from where we started at, what was given to us initially. Very fucking different. And it's always these young fucking idiots that claim they got the truth now. And they come up with these weird ass bugged out ideas because the new generation just think they're fucking super smart, bro. Just think they're super slick. You know, and you got some old wily old cats still around like Nate. You know, he think he's slick too. But you know, it's very different. It's very different, right? They've not stuck to things that they were taught, so they shouldn't even be counted as you know being you know, as other people would look at it as part of this truth or part of this Hebrew Israelite thing, man. They discount themselves, man. You know. So again, it says not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure, all things are pure, meaning they had the faith to believe, right? So unto the pure, all things are pure. This word is pure, and so we're not gonna sit there and scrutinize it to the point where like, because you're not sure, because you don't understand that this is obviously must be wrong, right? Why is it that the book is wrong? Why is it the words are wrong? Why isn't it that you're just not wrong? Why is it you just don't have the understanding for it? Then just, you know, that you should just take a chill pill and chillax, man. Right? And acknowledge that you're not on the level to understand it yet. Why is it always the book? You know, That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm right. That's wrong. I'm right. Right? Because you're impure. You have doubt. Right? So again, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, i.e. don't have faith, nothing is pure. So everything can change because their mind is changing. They're double-minded. And since scripture say a double-minded is unstable in all these ways, and these men are just double-minded, man. They're just weak in the faith. Right? So again, the unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. And this is why they can't hold shit down, man. They can't hold nothing down. Everything has to always change, man. I mean, they don't understand something. Oh, well, that don't sound right to me. Or maybe you just fucking... you're just dumb. Not joking. Because it has nothing to do with smarts, isn't it? But, maybe the Lord just ain't dealing with you, man. Or maybe the Lord don't want you to understand it yet. Maybe the Lord's testing you, to see what you would do when you come across something you're not sure about. Are you going to stick to what you've been taught? Is your faith going to remain intact? Or are you going to sit there and make up some other excuse or reason as to why that doesn't make any sense? And then you're going to try and make it make sense by bringing up, making a new doctrine. Are you going to stay true to what you was taught, or are you going to change things? And these are the tests that we all receive. Like, we all receive these things where you are not sure about something, right? Satan is there prodding you to see what you're going to do, trying to force you to do something. And some men do that stuff, man. Some men's like, that's wrong. And then now they're just convinced that, the elders is wrong. It really means this. Well, then, yeah, Satan's already got you in it. Because now you're trying to make sense out of shit that you don't understand. And it's you're lacking. You as the individual is lacking. The Lord has not given you understanding, man. But it doesn't mean you start trying to make it make sense because you don't understand. That you're going to go against everything that you was taught. That's not how you're meant to deal with it. Because that means you can't be humble, just accept that you don't understand. You don't have that understanding yet. Pride. Pride. Right? Satan loves a bit of pride. All right. So yeah, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving nothing is pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know the Most High, but in works they deny him. Right? Being abominable and disobedient. Yeah, hella disobedient, right? And unto every good work reprobate. Right? They'll say what they're doing is good. It's good. It's great. We get to spread the word and make loads of money doing it. The truth is not a vehicle for profit, for luxury. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant for that. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 2. It says, feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Right? We're not here to make money out of what we do. We don't look at the truth like that, right? As an opportunity to make money, because now money affects the day-to-day running of the truth, which is obviously what's happening with other groups. You have to stay on that gravy train because you want that money to keep coming in, and so you're gonna have to sign up to these debates. Yeah, you're gonna have to come up with some new doctrine. You want the image, you want the exposure. So you can keep people coming into your congregation. You want to sell the t-shirts, the hats, the fucking garments, breakdown packs, all these different types of things. You have to keep doing all that, man. But it's all taken away from what the truth is supposed to be about, right? Because now you're already just focused on keeping that gravy train going. So this is not meant to be about meant to be about money. Right? We teach for free. Right? We received it for free. We teach for free. In 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1 says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Right? So none of this ends well for these camps that do that. And you've got some guys trying to play the fence, right? Thinking that they can avert some sort of judgment if they're wrong. because it's not that deep, it's not that bad what they did, whatever, man. All right, all false prophets are going to be destroyed. All right, it's as simple as that. It don't matter if the lie was small or if it was big, right? All false prophets are going to be destroyed. All right. So many shall follow their pernicious ways, right? And this is why typically these other camps, these other groups that teach these lies have bigger congregations. It's funny that Christianity is like one of the biggest lies, and they got the biggest congregations. They're getting scammed continuously, bro, and they're still giving their money over to the pastors and shit. It's crazy. They got so much followers. Like, people believe in such craziness. Like, how the hell do people believe these dudes, right? But when we talk, no one wants to hear us. We're not no one, but you know what I'm saying, bro. It's like it defies real belief, because it's like how how mad, how crazy are these people? How I don't want to use the word stupid, but you got to think to yourself, wow, what made them think that? What made them believe that? I was just thinking about the Ebo Noah guy who was talking about another flood was going to happen. Had bare people coming and giving him money and coming down to visit him and shit and helping him build boats and whatever, man. I was like, what the hell? Like, how are these people doing this? Like, or even there's bare people you can point to, suicide pact dudes. What was his name, man? Oh, that white dude, man, that got a bunch of people to take poison with him at the end or some shit. I can't remember his damn fucking name. Jim Jones, was it Jim Jones? Yeah, I think it was Jim Jones, Right, how do people believe in this shit? Right, but we come out here and like we're just like the worst ever. Like no one should ever possibly believe us. I don't understand, bro, but well, I do. But it's like that's how the wrong side made people crazy. Like Lord said, it's send them strong delusion. Lord said it will send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie, and that's very clear to us, man. Because there's no way like any regular-minded person would do some crazy shit like that and believe in some crazy shit like that. And I can admit, like, some of the stuff we bring out, yeah, might to a normal person that seems, it might sound crazy, right? But there's people doing way crazier shit than some of the stuff we've been talking about, or that we prophesy about, UFOs, being the chariots and that kind of stuff. That might sound out there, but there's other people believing all kinds of crazy stuff out here, man, like real crazy stuff. But there's more people believing in that type of stuff than that want to hear us. It's kind of crazy. But it is what it is. The whole world is gone. It's crazy, man. And the elect are a few people. So of course we're never gonna have like the recognition as these other groups that deal with lies and falsities, right? Because this group is only made for the elect, and the elect are just a small group of people on the earth comparatively to everything else. So, that's why this can't be a numbers game. That's why we're not fussed about numbers. You man might think, oh, we got a bigger congregation, we got money coming in, we got nice garments. None of that means shit. None of that means nothing at all, man. And this is why we know where your heart's at, bro, when you talk about this sort of stuff. And you guys ain't right. Anyway, right? Back here, verse 2 again, right? And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, right? And that's why they always got something to sell you, man. Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not, right? It's coming to them. It's coming to them, man. It's like, we ain't gonna worry about it. It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. And we ain't gonna do nothing about it. The Most High's got the number. This is John chapter 10. I'll start from verse 11. It says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Right? But he that is a hireling, right? Hirelings get paid to do something. Right? To do a job. Right? We don't get paid to do the job. Right? We're not looking for money to do the job. Right? We're looking for the kingdom. So, we'll take a deferred payment, or however you want to put it, right? We'll wait, right? But these men want an advance. These men want an advance on the kingdom, right? They're just hiring, right? If they weren't making money from this, man, they probably wouldn't be doing this. right? And if they did for any amount of time, it wouldn't be long until you found out that they just disappeared, like a lot of these other groups, right? But he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep. They dipped, they ducked out, man, because like shit, yeah, I ain't here for that, you know. They leave the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and the scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is a hireling, right, and careth not for the sheep. Right, these men are not sincere. Right, they do this because there's money involved. Right, there's you know fame involved to some degree. Right, they've got this little community going on in their own little world, right, where they're like the head honcho, and everybody adores them and looks up to them, and it makes these guys feel good. It's the same with the wicked scribes and Pharisees. They reveled in the position that they were in, but they weren't really sincere or really cared, about people. Right? They didn't. It was all just for show. Right? That's what these guys are. Money means more to them. Okay, having a particular image is more important to them. Right? So this is going to be the last scripture I'll bring out, right? It's from Job chapter 15, verse 34, right? It says, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate. Right? He's nothing but hypocrites. He's been hirelings, false prophets, right? And the end is desolation, destruction, right? If they don't repent. So for the congregation of the hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Right? And like I said, that's all this arena does, this debate arena. All these endless debates. Right? It's just an excuse. Right? Just an excuse, man. Okay, these guys don't firmly believe in anything. They're not concrete in belief because they have not got faith. Especially these fucking Hassars and Hakkars of the world, man. They don't believe shit. They ain't got no conviction, man, in this truth. All right, but this is what happens, man. You deal with all these outsiders, these non-believers. Okay, the unbelievers. This is the thing. The unbelievers flock together, bro. Right, and let's say you spend a lot of time with these dudes, and you go back and forth with these dudes, and exchange numbers and ideas and all different types of things, bro. You just because you're one of them. Really, you're just one of them under a Hebrew Israelite identity. That's all it is. But you're part of that unbelieving world. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.